Check, check, 1, 2. News, Matt in the building. What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. We got two big topics to talk about in this news video that involve Sharif Cooper, who we recently talked about, and he addressed falling in the draft. And then we have Stephen A. Smith talking a little smack about Cade Cunningham, the #1 pick. We got a lot of stuff to get into, so if you're new to the channel and you like content like this, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. We shall start with Mr. Sharif Cooper himself. I believe he got drafted 48th by the Atlanta Hawks, and this was surprising to everyone but me. I already made a video giving my opinion on it and what I thought about it, so if you want to go check it out, feel free to do so. In almost every single mock draft, and most people in general, thought Sharife was a lock to go in the first round, and maybe at worst he'd go early in the second round, but boy oh boy, everyone couldn't have been any more wrong. Here's where I stand on it. Some of you think I'm bashing Sharife, and I'm not. He was a great college basketball player and a great high school player, and he was arguably one of the best SEC players in college last year. The dude averaged 20 points per game and 8 assists. It's really hard to do much better than that. But when you're talking about college and the NBA, it's two different ball games. Sharife isn't a great NBA prospect and he doesn't excite a lot of people. And it's simple, at least in my eyes. We went over this. He's not that tall, he's undersized, and he can't shoot, and that's a very bad combo at the next level. And I'm not backing away from my statements. I'm going to stand by this for the next 2 to 3 years because I said it. Sharife at best will be an average NBA and role player in his first couple of seasons. You got to look at the situation that he's going into. More than likely, he's not going to start for the Atlanta Hawks, and at best, he'll be a 6-man. So he's not going to be playing meaningful minutes from the jump. I said meaningful minutes. Well, I mean, he's not going to be playing a lot of minutes, so don't expect him to go off for 15 to 20 points. And I think that's how it's going to go for his first 2 to 3 seasons. But I wouldn't be shocked if he is an all-star caliber player one day. But I'm letting you know right now, his first couple of years in the NBA, it doesn't matter what team he's playing on, it's not going to be that sweet. Some of you aren't going to understand what I'm about to say, but I know some of you will, and you're going to know where I'm coming from. Sharife was a great high school player and a great and phenomenal college player, but he's not going to be a great NBA player. College and the NBA, it's two different things. Just because you're amazing at college doesn't mean you're going to pan out in the NBA or even be good. It's not just for basketball, but we see it with the NFL too. You'll see these Heisman contenders, for example, Tim Tebow, where they're the college football arguably GOAT, but in the NFL, they're really below average. The reason stuff like that happens, and we see it more times than not, is because what the NFL and NBA does that the college doesn't, is it's going to expose all of your weaknesses. When you're in college, you're not playing against pros, so you can hide your weaknesses and showcase your strengths, but when you get to the next level, everyone's going to see them. There's a reason he fell that low. Teams were scared to draft him because they didn't feel like they could benefit from him coming to their team. I know Sharife has a lot of fans, but ideally be realistic. What does he do better than other prospects in the draft do? There was many other point guards in this draft that I was higher on, and people was like, oh, you're crazy, Sharife's gonna go ahead of them. For example, two of the point guards that I was really high on and I predicted would go higher than Cooper, and what do you know they did, was James Bouknight and Tre Mann, who went to Florida. James Bouknight went to UConn, and he has a game like no other. He can shoot, pass, he's extremely athletic, and he's just a solid NBA prospect. He's what you want at the next level. With Tre Mann, what makes him so interesting is that he has a smooth game, and he can adapt and play with any system or any team. Tre and Bouknight, who are arguably my favorite point guard prospects in the draft, they have different games, but they're both going to be successful at the next level. My favorite part about Tre's game is that if he needs to get 15 assists and pass one game, he's going to do that and he's not going to turn the ball over. But if you need him to score and he notices the defense is sagging off, he can hit the 3 ball, and he was one of the best shooters in the SEC as a point guard last year. And then we can't forget to mention that Tre comes in at roughly 6'5", and Bouknight, he's not as small as Cooper. So when you break it down and look at it, yes, Sharif Cooper's a fantastic basketball player. We're not knocking that. But I'm comparing him to NBA players and other players in this draft. A lot of you gotta start looking at the facts. Sharife is a 6 foot, at best, 6'1", 180-pound point guard that doesn't have a good jump shot. I'm not hating on the dude, I'm just telling you facts. That way you don't get disappointed when he doesn't ball out next year. Anyways, moving on with this video, everyone was shocked about Cooper going low in the draft, and you could say he was mad and shocked about it too, and here's what he had to say. On Twitter, after he got drafted, Ja Morant tweeted out, "Reef should have been gone," and Sharif tweeted out, back at him, "All good Brody, Hawks, and let's go." Then to follow that up, he tweeted out some motivational stuff. He put, "They love trying to put my back where the wall's facing," and we know what he's talking about, come on. Basically saying, oh, they're doubting me, they don't want to see me win, and you know, all that good stuff. And then last but not least, the last thing he said as to when I'm speaking is, "Don't worry about it, Reef. God don't make mistakes, we good 100. And I'm assuming he meant to say God don't God, so you get it. It's hard not to like Sharif. He's a fan favorite, seems like a great and humble guy, and a very cool guy and great teammate to be around. And I think some of you get it twisted. I like all these basketball players and I like Sharif as a person and all that, but I'm giving you my basketball take. It's two different things. If I don't think Sharif's going to be successful in the NBA, that doesn't mean I'm wishing death upon the dude and I hate him as a person. No, it doesn't correlate. And the beauty about it is that we don't have to agree, and that's fine. The best part about anything in life is that not everybody's going to agree on everything, so that's why we talk about this stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if you think Cooper is going to ball out in his first year, you are out of your mind. He's not in a bad situation, but he's in an awkward one because he's a point guard. He's way too small to play shooting guard, and Atlanta has their point guard for the next 15 years. So where is he going to find minutes? I'm sure we'll see some instances where Trae Young and Cooper are both on the floor at the same time, but how would that work out? For all my quote-unquote Sharif Cooper fans, if you watched him and loved him as much as you say you do, you would know that when he played at Auburn in this most recent college season, that he had the ball in his hands almost 85% of the time. Guess what? I got bad news for you, Sharif. If you're playing with Trae Young, you're not going to have the ball in your hands more than 30% of the time. Trae will not take a backseat to Sharif, and rightfully so. He shouldn't. One way it could work, and a possibility that I kinda somewhat see, is that Sharif could be taking the ball up the court sometimes and Trae could play off the ball. But I don't even like that because we all know Trae succeeds and thrives more when he has the ball in his hands. Sharif's definitely not happy about all this. You can tell in his tweets and what he's posting on Instagram, and he's going to be coming with some vengeance. Wishing him the best of luck, hope he succeeds, but it'll be intriguing to see how it plays out. Next up in our news video, we gotta talk about this. I actually found this more interesting than Sharif's situation. We got Stephen A. Smith, who I've never even talked about on this channel, and Cade Cunningham. So recently on First Take, I'm not even gonna throw up any parts of the clip on the screen. I'll just explain what happened because it was like a 7-minute snippet, but Stephen A. was talking about Cade Cunningham and his concerns. And one of his biggest concerns about Cade wasn't nothing about his game, but it was his quote-unquote motor. And what he's talking about, I know where he's coming from because I've actually seen people question this before, but in college, Cade was way more efficient and better in the second half than the first half. I said efficient, that's the wrong word. Let's say productive. He wasn't playing bad in the first half throughout the season, but he wasn't aggressive. In the second half for Oklahoma State, throughout the entire season, he was doubling his shot attempts and doubling his points, and that shouldn't happen. It's good to be a second half player, but you still gotta show up in the first half. That's all that Stephen A. Smith was saying, and then he was going on to say that he can't do that in the NBA and he's gotta go hard from the first quarter to the fourth. Everyone was criticizing Stephen A. for this, and they were saying, oh, you're basically calling him lazy and all that good stuff. Everyone was quick to say that was a outlandish statement, but if you watched him play, you can kind of see where he's coming from. The one part where I disagree with what he was saying or how he worded it is that he was questioning his quote-unquote motor and how hard he plays. I think that is what rubbed a lot of people wrong, because they took that as saying that he's calling them lazy, and that don't sit right with people, especially with him being the #1 pick and as good as he is. You can look at it from two ways. Yes, he should have been more aggressive in the first half in college, but that's how Cade plays. If you watched him in high school or college, he likes to settle in with the game and get the rhythm, start passing to his teammates and get everyone else involved, and then when he needs to take over, he's going to do that. I don't think it's a motor problem or anything with him not trying, but I just think it's him filling out the game. The best part about Cade is that he can turn it on and turn it off, but he doesn't need to wait till the second half to take over, and I'm sure he's not going to do that in the NBA, and he's going to be fine. At the same time, I don't think he's going to change his game style. He's going to come into the NBA and feel it out and take his time, and in the second half, that's when he'll try to take some of the big time shots. All in all, I think Stephen A, he was right in his statement, but he was also wrong. So let me know what you think about it down below. We had a lot to talk about in this video dealing with Sharife and Cade Cunningham, so drop your comments down below, let me know what else you want to see. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, wait on. Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.